Wowza, that was loud in my ears. Well, welcome back to another episode of Generals Gathered in Their Masses, just like witches at black masses, evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields, the bodies burning as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah. He scared the kitty. I scared the kitty. Oh, hi, guys. So Ozzy's gone. That's a bummer. Long live Ozzy, you know, Prince of Darkness and all that. It sounds like it's so funny being like, really gonna miss that Prince of Darkness. He was a good guy. Yeah, Prince of Darkness. Anyways, you know, that whole album, Black Sabbath, was actually, I listened to a very long documentary about that Randy Rhoads worked on. And this is not fish related at all, but we're just waiting for people to filter in. Kitty Cat, you came over here. What do you want now? You want what? You want me to keep singing Ozzy? Is that what's going on? Let's see here. So yeah, what I was listening was like to them saying that basically he hated, Randy Rhoads hated Black Sabbath. He thought they were corny and stupid. And like kind of like he thought Allison Cooper was like theatrical and just kind of like drama kids trying to scare people in like, you know, goth outfits basically before it's time. But as he got to know them, he found out like that first album actually was not supposed to be like super, I don't know, wasn't supposed to be scary, satanic, blah blah blah. It was supposed to be about like the dreams and stuff they had, like the fear they had of it, and like they're kind of toying with their own fears and stuff, and they all grew up kind of like, I guess, semi surrounded by pretty religious stuff. And like, I don't know, I found that interesting though, that like Black Sabbath, the song, and you know, they named the band that too, but like was about a nightmare that like haunted it wasn't Ozzy, it was someone, one of the other guys. It was a Geezer Butler, maybe, I don't know, whoever it was. I don't remember who it was, but yeah. Anyways, I thought that was interesting because then they kind of like started this whole like the devil and like rock and roll. I mean, they didn't start that. I guess there's like the whole, you know, trading his soul for the guitar abilities, like Robert Johnson, like going back to the 20s and 30s. But, you know, they kind of started to like new age metal and dark metal kind of launch point, which I thought was interesting, that they didn't think it would, like, they didn't think it'd be any big deal really when they made their first album. And then when everyone was like, oh my gosh, it's so taboo. It wasn't really in the UK so much. It was a little more like laughable, but in the US they took it very seriously. You know, the US was very, very seriously religious, and that just like fueled their rise to fame. Anyways, guys, how are we doing? I hope we're doing good. What's going on? Jeff Kane, Sketty Nona, Asa, Leo, Stephen P 2003, Running Water, Uncle Smiley's Aquariums, Joe Patel, who hates my singing. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm not too fond of it either, you know. Wish they'd just let me play the songs. Uncle Smiley, something's creepy about that name, but I like it. Coro, Beto, Great Lakes, Cassandra, what's going on? CRP Fish. Wait, it's actually CRP Hish. Anyways, how's it going, Cheryl? Hope you're doing well. Emily, hello. Roy, hello. Justin, hello. Hello. All right, so I'm going to go You guys may have asked some questions. I don't know what happened. Craziness could have ensued. Rob, hello. David's Aquatics, hello. Terry LaPierre, what is going on? So yeah, y'all may have asked questions, but if you did, do it again. So what I wanted to talk about today, I have always had this obsession, and I don't know why I've never really articulated it onto this channel as like a series yet, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about it, and the thought that I had was maybe we'll do biotopes as an episode. So like it could be a 20-minute episode about the geology, the chemistry, the natural history of the region, and then what like aquarium species are there and what threats or what's like, you know, saved around there. Like if it's in a national park, great, you know, but if there's logging or if there's cattle or if there's like a mine going in, talk about whatever contemporary things are going on and whatever's out there that we can do about it. So I wanted to do that, and then I was like, you know, well, I could do the Amazon, and it's like, okay, well, what piece of the Amazon do you do? And there's like a million spots you could pick, but people think of the Amazon, and it's like that is a continent, you know, that is like a giant thing, the size of like Australia, basically, of rivers, and go figure, the fish change just a little bit as you navigate across that giant landmass. Mick, what's going on? So I'm going to need your help today. Elfish, what's going on? Good to see you too. And Brush It Off, good to see you as well. Leo, what's up? So the other thing that I would like, if y'all have any ideas, Geisha, what's going on? I think it's a cool idea. I've always wanted to make a blackwater tank with neons. Yeah, totally. So, you know, I think what I'm looking for, though, is I'm looking for your feedback from you guys, too, today. And we'll cover, I'm fine with saying, like, okay, let me present to you guys some pictures on the TV, on the YouTubes. Let me show you guys some pictures of these incredible habitats, show you some of the fish that live there. Like, definitely one of my top 10 would have to be like the island of Sulawesi. And then it's like, do I say Sulawesi or do I say Lake Poso or do I say Lake Maro, or like how granular should we get with this? Connor's Fish Fam, what's up? Good to see you. It's been a bit. Yeah, totally. But good to have you. Mon, Stony Scapes, hello. I can't even see what that little symbol or icon is that you posted, but it's mystifying, magical and mystifying. So yeah, if you guys have, and Madame Lacrimosa just finished doing water changes on all 3 of my tanks. Perfect time to sit back and enjoy the stream. That's right. If you got one, crack it open and drink it, guys. Oh yeah. Hey Robert, hello. How are you, my friend? Good to see you. So yeah, today, if you just missed what I was saying, we're going to talk about very specific biotopes, but in hopes of that someday when I get my butt in gear, which, you know, could be like next week, hopefully, I want to start doing series, and like maybe every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, or once a month, I'll roll out another one of this like little series. Now, YouTube makes it kind of difficult to have series. I can put them into a playlist, but I really wish they would let us split things up by like a subheader, so I could have, you know, the playlist that's all how-to guides, that's all this, that's all that, and I can do that with playlists, I guess, but it's not the most intuitive or easiest way to find things, and it doesn't let you search the playlists that well. But yeah, Yeah, nice running water. I saw Ozzy with corn as well in 98 or something like that. 98 or 99 maybe. It was corn and Limp Bizkit and Cypress Hill and the Sick and Stained, and it was like the Sick and Twisted tour, and then they had like an Ozfest Seattle wing. Yeah. And then I also saw, who was it? Like, yeah, Godsmack, and I don't know. There, man, that's hard to remember those days. There was one tour I saw where Limp Bizkit was there. There was another where they weren't. And that's the only way I can remember the difference between Ozfest and the Sick and Twisted that year. But yeah, good. I mean, I like that music. I still like that music. Rob Zombie. Yeah. Yeah, White River Amphitheater. Yeah, that's exactly. So I saw them at the. I want to say the one without Ozzy was at. Was it? Yeah. Okay. So that one was at Key Arena, and so yeah, it was the White River Amphitheater for sure. Yep, that's the one I went to. Man, a while ago. It was one of my first concerts, like as a sentient teenager, being like, "Oh man, I'm gonna save up my money and go." Definitely. Anyways, so we're gonna talk about special. Okay, I got a special location. You know, I counting off. I was trying to come up with 20, just so we have something to work with, guys. If you have a good suggestion, if you're like, no, check out Lake Kivu, okay, great, let me know, we'll check it out. Okay, guys. I love that. That's lovely, isn't it lovely? Also, if I end up going over into Dan's time over on Dan's Fish, let me know. And I'd love if somebody kept an eye on that, just in case. I think that we still have, it's either we have 35 minutes or we have an hour. I can't remember which one, but I don't remember for sure if he starts at 6 or 6:30. But the idea, I don't like to trample over Dan. Today is kind of a makeup stream, but what I want to do is come up with a very loose list. I even have a pen here. So if you guys have suggestions, you guys are smart. You guys teach me things, and I'm counting on it. Amaya something. Dr. A's Peruvian River. Yeah, the Amaya is a very cool river. Cat, give me that. Cat literally sitting on a stack of papers, and she won't give up anything. I tried to take a piece of paper from her, and she was like, no, can't have your pen or your paper. But, oh, yeah. Okay, guys, I got to get these down. Sucuri River. And, oh, yeah, the Pantanal. That is another great one. You know, the Pantanal was going to be a really hard one to cover completely. There's another spot that nobody knows about yet because basically, oh yeah, the cenotes in that's another great one, Fish Dad. The cenotes in Mexico is incredible. There's actually cenotes all across Central America, and like limestone sinkholes. But how about different biotopes for quarries in the Amazon? Well, we'll get there. I mean, yeah, we'll definitely be covering, like right here. If we did the Amaya River, we did the Jingu River, we did the Pantanal, we did, I don't know, like something really upper river versus something very down river, like the Tucanos River or something, like where you got like the Tucano Tetra that is super like only lives in one creek off one river. That's insane. Yet all of the Amazon exists with all its diversity and stuff. Yet there's only that. It's very wild. I can check with Mick said I can check with my friend Carl if he would share some pictures and videos from him diving in Lake Tanganyika. Hey, that's cool. I would appreciate that. I mean, I love all that stuff. If anybody has their own trips, travels, even if you want to come, if you ever want to say like, hey, I've got footage of fish in the wild, and it's, you know, clear to use, like for if I want to use it for talking and showing, you know, that spot in nature, or if you have some little notes about it or whatever, the Discord group is a really good spot for that if you want to do that. I mean, that's very generous of folks. I appreciate it, because a lot of stuff is mislabeled when you go and get B-roll. It'll say like the Amazon River, and it'll say like South America, Colombia, Brazil, Peru. What is that? That's everywhere. That's like saying America, United States, the United States of America. It's a river somewhere there. But yeah, wild betta habitats. Okay, so yeah, I want to show you guys one of the most extreme ones right off the bat. I don't think Dan streams tonight. He is every other week now. Oh, is he now? Well, thank you, Uncle Smiley. I did not know that. I should know more. I really should, considering, you know, I push the guy's fish. I like the guy's fish. You know, man. Rio Ameca, yeah, that's another one. Rio Ameca. You know, if you want to go to the Rio Ameca, Beto, I actually have a video of me at the Rio Ameca and being really disappointed. And I was along the coast. I went through some towns. I went about 40 miles up the river in total. And it's kind of surprising in that the main Ameca River was like shockingly sparse, shockingly so. But the actual river, there's bigger rivers around there that are actually flowing. But in the dry season, there are times when there's almost no water flowing. It's very odd. It's like a stagnant lagoon almost, and very polluted, which is why those fish are, you know, extinct in the wild and only recently were put back. But yeah. Johnny Best, thank you so much, sir. We got the first super duper chat of the night. Chat of the night. Super duper chat of the night. Chat of the night. Mick, is it Alex, is it okay if I put up a link for Carl's YouTube channel? Yeah, of course, man. Yeah, of course. You can always share someone's YouTube channel if it's relevant to education, learning, and you feel like it's a good, you know, information source. I don't want it to get spammy for like as a general rule, but like, of course, since you asked me to, like, definitely. And because I know it's you, definitely. But I'm just saying, you know, if I don't know you, if we don't chat every freaking week like Mick and I, then yeah, you know. Okay, Anna Banana, I appreciate knowing that as well from you. Thank you. KJE Aquatics, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's see here. It's, yeah, really good to see you. Okay, so what I was going to show you guys though is what I meant to show you is the Danakal Desert. And you guys may or may not have seen this place, and you may or may not have ever thought that this place could provide life to any sort of fish. So first of all, we need to address the elephant in the room, and that is this Johnny Best just made 5 of you new members. You get a membership, you get a membership, you get a membership, you get a membership, and you way there in the back who's not even watching, you're not even paying attention, you're in your pajamas, you got one hand in your pocket and the other one giving a high five. Yeah, you can get a membership now. Thank you. That was very, very nice of you, Johnny man. So guys, go check out the extra content for being a member. Thank you for being a member. I need to make some more member icons and weird stuff and meme stuff. Meme stuff for, like, you know, little lightning bolts and stuff, like, because, you know, I got hit by the lightning, right? Maybe I shouldn't just say, like, oh yeah, you guys need to earn your lightning bolts to become a member of my club. That sounds pretty bad, but we'll work on it. We'll workshop it. Lush and salty aquariums. Yeah, lush and salty aquariums. I'm glad you're digging the vibe tonight. You are so welcome. So before we look at the place that I never thought a fish could survive. So, like, I've been at the Yellowstone National Park, and that's a pretty close second to where I looked at the geysers and the geothermal hot springs, and there's like radiant red and orange and blue and all the colors of the rainbow, like right there, and the water's boiling, and there's mud, and it looks so foreign, or like a hellscape from like Dante's Inferno. Smells like sulfur, literally. I mean, I guess that's where they get the notion of hell. Some of the like imagery that was formed around that. But anyways, and yet there are Yellowstone trout like 4 miles away from that same water. It's absolutely mind blowing that like they're near each other. But in that part of the world, you're like, okay, in this climate, I could see why fish could be here. What's interesting is that no geothermal region there has stayed stable enough to keep warmer fish. Like, there's no geothermal friendly fish there. But what has happened in Yellowstone, but I don't think it's going to be worth a whole biotope look, is that the Lahan trout from Wyoming and the Wind Rivers canyons, the trout that adapted to these really cold Wyoming, Idaho, Montana winters, in the spring, these lakes come back, and yeah, bugs eventually come in the billions, and there's tons of food for them to eat. But there's a period for a long time of ice and then just, you know, frozen stuff and not much going on in the way of life that can move, you know, because it's like negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit in some cases, you know, like wind chill negative 60. It's like the Great Plains kind of thing. Yet there's still life in the lakes. There's whitefish, you know, there's the graylings, there's trout, there's a number of fish. But they found that specifically the trout, the way they're able to do it, all they need is oxygen. So a deep enough lake with enough volume that oxygen can remain under the ice, or that the ice can crack and move enough that it imparts some of the oxygen into the lake, or from the bottom of the lake, yada yada. But anyways, the trout are surviving off of biofilm and bacteria and algae. And that's not something that rainbow trout or, brook trout or anything like that have survived off of historically, or any salmonid. That's not how they roll. But they do roll that way there. And there was a recent study on that, like maybe 2 years ago, that found that like that is how they survive there, and that they've actually got completely different enzymes in their bellies and a whole different gut biome to be able to digest that. Thank you for mentioning to smash the like button. That always does help things travel, helps word travel that we're having fun here. Are we having fun, guys? I'm having fun, guys. Well, I'm not having fun, guys, but I'm having fun, guys. Okay, Carl plays keyboards and has been touring in several bands. Sounds like a cool guy. Check out his YouTube, guys. When Mick posts the link, check it out. Check it out. I think he should be able to post the link because he is a admin moderator slash in charge. Alabib, what's going on? Good to see you, my man. Another one, Australia rainbows can be found. Another one, a location in let's see here. Anna Banana, I have pygmy cory eggs in my fry box. I am afraid I will kill them all. How do you feed such small cories? I use paramecium for CPDs, but cories will be able to get them from the water. So yes, they will free swim a little bit. Cory will surf the glass and they'll get paramecium and stuff, but they'll eat algae also, which is actually very handy. So the fact that if you have a more mature tank, if you have a tank ready anywhere with something that won't eat them, so like if you had a shrimp tank that was used for nothing but shrimp, you know, man, that's a perfect environment to have tons of little micro food for them. Otherwise, a lot of people use green water. You can also use vinegar eels. You can use baby brine shrimp that will kind of fall to the bottom. There's a number of things you can use with them, and they have a yolk sac for 5 days. So actually, by the time they have been an egg, they've been a sticky head, as we call them, with the big yolk sac on the belly and whatever. Like by the time they are free swimming and you can make out organs in them and they're not just eyes and a spine, they actually are able to eat quite a few different things by that point, which is handy. That's good to know. Let's see here. The Chagres River and the effect of the Panama Canal. Oh, I'm saying that wrong, I'm sure. Chagres. Is it French? Chagres? Or is Chagres, or is it Spanish? Chagres. Chayes. What would that be? Chayes River. I don't know how to say it, but I'm gonna write it down. The Chagres River, because I couldn't remember the name of that river and the Panama Canal. But a plan. What do you want, kitty cat? We have a kitty cat that's begging. But yeah, the Panama Canal right now. So they widened it. They did a big expansion on it 2 years ago. Or they got it underway, and the expansion ended up causing salt water to completely leach into these giant wetland regions that used to also hold these big old lakes. And there's another spot like in Guatemala and Nicaragua where they've even thought of building another canal like the Panama Canal. And that's a whole other ecological nightmare, or I mean, I guess you could say industrial triumph is the other way to put that. But yeah, there's been some major problems also with things like now they're having fish from the Atlantic. Now they've proven scientifically that they made it all the way through the canal and to the other side. So there are Atlantic fish coming into the Pacific Ocean there, and there are Pacific fish making it into the Atlantic Ocean through the canal with the ships, which is that's real bad news for nature. Pretty wild. So that would be a really interesting ecosystem that's really in flux. And there's cichlids there. There's cariforms. There's all sorts of interesting fish that are not in the hobby. They're just bigger than the hobby, which I think is interesting. Johnny, thank you, buddy. Holy smokes, holy cannoli, holy rabbit, holy Dr. Pepper Cherry. Thank you, buddy. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna put that in my piggy bank, and I'm gonna buy a piggy. Well, first I'll have to buy a bank, then I will buy the piggy, and then I will make him into the bank. But thank you, bud. Man, I don't know how to thank you, Johnny. You have really been a champion of the channel. You've been a not a muse, I wouldn't say, a patron in the truest sense of you keep things chugging along. Like the last 2 months here, and then like over the last summer when I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, you guys, all of you, like just watching the content, showing up, it really has changed my life. It really has made me feel lucky even when a lot of bad things have gone on. Cat, come on. Trying to be heartfelt here, and you're literally she just took a piece off the green screen that's behind me and just knocked it across the counter. Cat, come on. But yeah, you guys, holy smokes, I really do appreciate it. That's very nice of you. How do you separate eels from the vinegar? So I have whole videos on that, but you just put water at the top of the vinegar eel bottle, so it's like half filled with vinegar. Then you fill off the last top with water, and they'll separate, and the eels still need to go all the way up to oxygen, so they will separate out up into that layer that is water, and you can suck them up in there, or there's other methods too, but that's the way I like. I just use a pipette and only get them from the top there. Why save money? We can't spend it, pass away, so why not spend it for tomorrow? Promise to no one. I tend to agree. I don't have kids. My goal is going to be, like I said, ever since I realized with my wife that we aren't having kids, we don't want to leave any money in this world. I want conservation. She wants to empower kids and like education in the developing world, but more so like here in poor regions like of our state and of where she grew up in Ohio, like the West Virginia border and stuff. Like more chances for kids, more opportunities for kids to get an education. And in that sense, she loves the thought of you could be a metal worker, you could be a scientist, you could be a doctor or a psychologist, you could be an artist, doesn't matter what, but like more avenues to work with experts in whatever it is you want to do. And she, volunteers. My wife is incredible that way, and she pushes me to do that. And so, with this channel, we're really hoping that we do some of that kind of stuff too, especially with our especially with the nonprofit that Ivan and I have set up, and his new book coming out is going to be pretty incredible on the aquatic plants of the Orinoco. It's a beautiful book. I proofed it for him, and I wrote the little blurb on it for him. One of the two on there anyways. Also, Waffling Bog, thank you so much, my man, my buddy, maybe my woman, but I'm guessing my man. How's it going? You've got to be in the UK, I would assume. Yeah, or are we an American that just loves the term waffling like me? Because I'm always waffling about on this damn channel, going on and on and on about who knows what, So guys, I want to show you the thing that I was gonna show you. That was bad pitch to my voice. When you're like, Alex, when do you have good pitch to your voice? Never. Okay, share screen. So the place I never thought fish could survive, the place that I thought, nah. When they showed that place, I thought people couldn't survive in this place. I thought, what in the heck is going on? Fishberg, hello. Grateful every day. Blessed to get to share some of them with you. Hey, I feel that way about all you guys. So thank you. Come on in. And also, let's see here. Where did we? Boop, 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 boop. I missed something. Did I miss? Oh, also Jason Bartel, welcome to being a member. Hey, I really appreciate that. Thanks for jumping in. And Robert Bennett. Okay, so when you got yeah, the Chagres River and the effect on the Panama Canal. So I did see that. Love that. Thank you so much for that super chat too. But yeah, I know I saw that mention. So what did somebody? Sorry, I didn't even read what they said about that. Oh boy. Oh wow. Who are we talking about here? Now I'm getting lost in the question. Alex, stop reading the conversations between people. You're gonna lose it. Hey, Father Fish, what's going on? Lou, how's it going? Welcome. Come on in. The water is lukewarm and, there's no nitrates here, but we're working on it. Emily, hello. And CJ, thanks for keeping me company while I set up some new tanks. Hey, thanks for stopping by, CJ. Fish Family Link. Hey, there's a bot I haven't seen in a while. Come on in, bot. Hello, bot. Bot, will you make me famous? Bot, go invite all the other bots here. I loved it when I used to poll like 150 people, and I was like, whoa, who are all these people? And like, I think a third of them were bots. But anyways, did somebody say Panama Canal, a man, a plan, Panama? Yeah, that is an onomatopoeia. Isn't that what they call that? I think that's what they call that. No, a palindrome. An onomatopoeia is the word that sounds like I don't know. I'm not going to get, this is an English class. Let's stop with that. Okay, so Alex, what were you going to show us that was so amazing? Well, this is what I was going to show you. I was going to show you that the Danakal, the hell on earth, if you had to see this place in Ethiopia and the Kenyan borderlands. There are a number of places like this. Can we see that? Can you guys see this? Like, here's a human for scale. It is a giant area that has some of the lowest areas in the world there. I mean, it is so strangely colored with sulfur and iron, manganese, bacteria. I mean, this green and all this stuff is different bacteria and salt and sulfur. And I mean, it's just, it's wild. So then if you go to that and you go Ethiopia, and then we go Ethiopia soda cichlids. And by the way, it gets like 130 degrees Fahrenheit there. It's tied for one of the hottest places on earth with Iran, and a spot in the Sahara and Death Valley. Like, they all kind of vie for, who's the hottest? Let's see. So Ethiopia soda cichlid. So African soda cichlids. Amazonas has done a magazine on them. I think these are the ones right here that are absolutely bonkers. Yeah, Lake Natron. That's the one that's absolutely insane. So let's look up Lake Natron. I just want you to see Lake Natron. And yet there are cichlids in Lake Natron. Oh, look at the edge of Lake Natron. Oh boy. That's a rough habitat, isn't that, folks? That's a hard day job for a fish to show up to every day. Holy smokes. And there's a volcano there. Now granted, it's not in this red lake, but it is in the water and rivers near there. And it can be in like 9.5 pH. It's absolutely incredible. Cat. So, but yeah, that is super. Yeah, let's find that fish is, like, just for the sake of this, this fish. let's find out real quick. So Lake Natron, this one in particular is in northern Tanzania. There's another lake in Ethiopia. There's another one in Kenya. This one's in Tanzania and Kenya. It's a border between the two. It's right there. It's the East African Rift Lake. And let's see here. Its pH levels exceed 12 in spots in the lake. Sodium carbonate and trona deposits, which are the result of volcanic activity, it make it inhospitable for animals, but birds live there reasonably. So let me pull up how close the cichlids get to it, though, which is just, I mean, that's just incredible. So where do we go? Ethiopia soda cichlid, Ethiopia soda cichlid. So yeah, so there is a morph. The species has an essentially straight mouth, but a morph with an upturned mouth found locally in eastern Lake Natron, where it occurs with the natural morph. Okay, so there are two other species in the lake. So there's this species, and they're not going to give us the pictures, but they're all considered vulnerable. And then there is also this other. So there are 3 fish in this lake that are. So there's the common natron tilapia is one name of it, but the soda cichlid is the other. But I mean, absolutely crazy. So it can reach 4.6 inches. Let's look up the actual like fish base information. Wikipedia is not a good source, but right now today I wanted to really talk about basically like what it is, like what places we should cover in this upcoming series if I do a series about this. And because of that, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Okay. And I wanted... Is this a wild picture? Oh, wow. Okay. Well,
hi, this is Oliver Lucanis from Below Water. Today we'll have a look at some African cichlids from Lake Natron.
So look at this. He's going to let us, I know he'd be okay with this because I already asked him if I could use his channel. But there is Val, and there are a couple other plants that can live in this lake. But the thing is, I don't want to play his video. You can go to the Below Water channel. But look at this. There's the flamingos there. Look at the lake. It's red. Most of the freaking lake is red in the north end. These fish are surviving in the like high water mark drainage of the south end of the lake. And they're in like these salty reeds that during the wet season kind of expand out, but they actually kind of get trapped. So what I want to read to you though is just how extreme they can be, but after you guys see these for a sec. So this is the main species, the natron tilapia. They make nests, and they have like a really complex mating ritual with like a main male and female, and then they pair off. But they also prepare these nest sites with like rocks and stones, and look at that. Yeah, so he drew on the screen right there that there are eggs here, and then he's placing rocks around the area. I mean, so take some time if you want and go check out Oliver Lucanis's channel. Here they are spawning. I mean, just incredible footage. I am so jealous of these guys. I always want to use their stuff, but I don't want to get in trouble. And I don't have time for every video to be like, hey, Oliver, can I use your video and use this scene and this scene and this scene? And that's really how you should do it. You know, and he hasn't said just use any of my stuff for any video. even though I would give him a shout out. But maybe I can work something out, like pay him a fee or something, because he's been all over the world. Between him and Ivan, like we could get quite a bit of cool footage. But let's see here. Biology. So they're a mouth brooder, a maternal mouth brooder with males defending a spawning territory and nest. So okay, where's the important information? Let's see here. Really? There's no information on. Ow! Cat just bit me. There's no information on freshwater. Okay, that's annoying. So we'll have to look at maybe seriously fish. I'm annoyed that I'm surprised Fish Base doesn't have something on that. That's odd. But we continue our search and see what happens when we do this. Fish base. Ow, cat is causing problems. I don't even see anybody selling. I do know it does get sold. All I can see is stuff about how the size it gets, and that it's vulnerable. But I won't stress too long on this. But this is one of the most extreme fish there is. And I was trying to figure out the pH of of what it can handle. Should I even look in the YouTube or in the Wikipedia? Of course, it doesn't have anything on them. But is there even Fish base? No. I mean, that's a bummer. That's a bummer that they're like, okay. Water parameters. Okay, requirements. We'll see since that popped up. So they can live between 22 and 30 Celsius. So between 72 and 86 degree water. I happen to know that they can survive more than that. Yes. They can get all the way up to 37 Celsius, 98 degrees, guys. And they can get to 50 Fahrenheit or 10 Celsius. Salinity and many tilapia, they can tolerate brackish water, even hypersaline conditions, and can survive at saltiness of 4 ppt. Very high salinity impacts growth, delays growth. Their general pH is 6.5 to 9.0. However, showing growth in waters in pH as low as 5.5 has been possible, but a crucial and stable, or it is crucial that there's a stable pH. But I think their pH, let's see here. Yeah, they can buffer the alkalinity. They can have high nitrates, high nitrites, high ammonia. I mean, they're like super fish. I don't know why. Like we do raise tilapia for a lot of things, but I mean, it's really wild to think that that fish can live in the desert, like I showed you guys. Cat, why do you keep coming over here and getting tangled in the cords and wanting to hang out? Alex, these type of contents are very useful for people who don't take time to really know how they live in the wild. You know, that's kind of what I'm hoping with this biome series is like maybe to encourage some more biome like research, because I think that's some of the most fun of having fish is going and like looking around online and exploring. Yeah, there are a lot of fish that can, I mean, like I did a video on how rice fish are able to survive freezing and how goldfish survive freezing. And they both have totally different biological systems for dealing with that. But the main problem in both species is that they don't have enough oxygen in their blood. So what they do is they actually super saturate their blood in some way with oxygen. One way is they start bonding another chemical they release, and not only does the iron in the hemoglobin of their blood oxidize, and basically, like, if you didn't know, that's how your blood carries your oxygen around your body, is it essentially oxidizes into like rust kind of. And you got dark iron, and then you got blood red rusty iron, right, in solution. Well, copper can also hold oxygen, and so can other metals, and so can other compounds for that matter. And there are actually forms of organisms that can rip like CO2 apart and take the oxygen away from that and keep using that as it builds up as a waste product in the blood system, which is bonkers. But the fish are able to do that. Sumi wants your attention. She knows when you ignore her. Yes, she does seem to know that, doesn't she? Sumi, I love you, and I'm not ignoring you. It just really worries me that you haven't left this entire stream. You've been right like within arm's reach. Yes. And Oliver Lucanis's channel. Yeah, thanks for the links, Mick. Yeah, they're kind of cool. JP Jeffries, what's going on? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And holy smokes, Father Fish, thank you so much for this super sticker, man. I really do appreciate that. That is very nice of you. Let's see here. What's been going on with you? Admittedly, I haven't been doing anything related to YouTube. They can ask my viewers. They're like, you haven't been doing much on your own channel, you jerk. But yeah, so thank you. I do appreciate the support, my friend. And I hope things are going well over on your channel and over in your side of the world, over in Maryland. I've been talking about how I am no longer with my, well, it's a catch-22. We're not going to go into it today, but I am, hey, Paul McCarthy, hello, welcome, good to see you, come on in. I was talking about how, hey, and 186 element, welcome, come on in, said, come on in to the big old fish. So I was going to say, I used to be like very pro natural aquarium, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see if I can get rid of the filter. I'm going to see if I can get rid of the heater. I'm going to see if I can get rid of adding food, because I want like animals to live in, like algae and microcrustaceans, and did have fun doing that. There is ways to do that. It is a lot of work if you want to make that balance. And I hope that I made it clear that like that's taking the training wheels off totally. You have no more wiggle room or error room when that goes on. Like if your ammonia spikes, for instance, when you have a planted tank and that's all you're working with. But at the same time, it's a very rewarding feeling to see it like working like a year, 2 years, 3 years, like actually functioning, and having baby fish in there, and the baby fish eating the algae and then eating seed shrimp and eating, all the little things. It's a tall order, and I think you need a very big tank for very few fish. Just like nature, like scale wise, it ends up being like nature. And that makes it hard. So that's why now, especially with my mobility issues, Father Fish, I'm probably more beat up than you at this point. The cat is just meowing and running around. Sorry if you guys can hear her doing crazy things. But I'm supposed to be in the wheelchair still. I'm not supposed to be standing. And when I sit, I'm supposed to have my leg up, my right leg. It is getting better, but it's taught me like not to lift things, not to, I just can't do all the water changes and things. So I need to do the filtration. I need to do the the right loading of things even more intensively. So I love that I've gone through this like decade of loving the nature tank and the simple tank, the Wallstead tank, deep substrate, anoxic filtration, trying all those things out and knowing like the limitations and the time involved. And you know, it also lets me know too, like what fish I'm gonna be able to deal with in a low maintenance tank, like white cloud minnows. Like, you know, I've made videos like most bulletproof fish that will live forever in any condition. And, you know, I hope that that list is helpful to some folks. You know, you got like your Danios and you've got, and then somebody will tell me like, oh no, I got those and they died within a week of getting them. And so like, if I can't keep that, how could I keep anything? And people shouldn't take it that way, because you can totally stress out just, you know, a fish just the wrong way. Alex, I followed you so long that you had so many types of plants and fish that I won't get I won't get to in a lifetime. Yeah, well, you know, when you become a nutcase and you have 34 tanks like I did at the peak of my tanks, yeah, you get a lot of fish that can be around, right? So, oh boy. Indomitable. The abominable. At least you didn't say the abominable. But it makes me think of the snowman from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And the elf that wants to be a dentist. Emily says, also, Fatherfish has been so positive about me sharing on his live streams, even though I don't have alternative tanks. Oh, yeah. Hold on, guys. I got a question here. Roy Baker says, what can you tell me about Crobia? Nothing. To be honest, Crobia. Are we talking about the little South American Guyana cichlid from the Jingu River? I don't know much about them. I mean, I think they're pretty cool. I don't want to lie. Hold on. Let's pull them up. All right, here. Okay. So they get to 5 inches. I don't want Wikipedia. I don't know why this search engine on this laptop. I need to set up the Mac laptop as our main streaming laptop, because Adam Ragosia actually hooked that up for me. It's just I haven't signed in all the passwords and stuff. I've done some editing on the MacBook, but I don't like the MacBook. Like, I'm better at navigating the internet and StreamYard and stuff on a PC, and it interacts better with other people's PCs and all that. But it looks like I'm guessing that it's the Crobia genus. So there are two. Oh, their names. Is it a dead end? Is it a dead end genus? That's an interesting one. Convict blennies, as they're called. That's their nickname, I guess. They're in Suriname also. So yeah, I actually don't know much about this, man, but this is an interesting fish for sure. This is somebody's fish base pictures. Hungary, apparently. I mean, there's like 4 different individuals from Hungary that have uploaded. The Netherlands. Why is it they always get the coolest fish? These are really cool. Thank you for telling me about these. I honestly, I would have assumed. I don't know what I would have assumed, that they were baby something, like baby heroes or something. Wow, they kind of look like almost like vaguely Oscar-ish. Let's see. Well, that won't open to you guys, but they got like this red, gray, kind of yellow pattern with even like a little bit of bluish, smoky blue. Very interesting. And it looks like they're in the Xingu, throughout the Xingu River, and they go up into Suriname also. So what I wanted well, I guess so. There's Crobia zinguensis here, and then there's a few Crobia, I guess, and then there's Crobia guianensis, and then there was one other one I saw, but the Crobia zinguensis from Jingu River, that's the one I want right there. Look at that. Ooh wee! That's a pretty spicy meatball. Looks like they might get some nuchal hump also going on. But if they don't get over 5 inches, that's totally like workable for your average Aquarius. It's kind of like a crib or something like that. I don't know how aggressive they are, but if they call them convict blennies, if that's their nickname, you might have an issue. Also, if they're named Crobia, I wonder if it is after the Polish region, town, city, and if that's like an ichthyologist from there or something. But I wanted to pull something up for you guys again. So another place that there you would never expect fish, or maybe like a better way to put it would be so Jungle Sky Islands, Venezuela, and then go killifish, because Alex can't be bothered remembering this stupid name. But these places are absolutely bonkers, and they exist in the Guianan Shield. And here we go. Rivulus sape and Stacrii. Okay, so hold on. Let me let's try this one first. So I want to show you the fish first. And you'll probably say, Alex, that fish is not that cool. Maybe you'll say it's pretty cool. I don't know. But probably you will say, Alex, that fish not that cool. Okay. So right here, very small. Why can't we get the full-size picture on any of these? Okay, here we go. So let me pull it up. All right. So fishes. Right here. Wait, they aren't that aggressive, really. Oh, good. That's good to know. Divide by 0. Sorry, I haven't been looking at the chat for a moment. I'm about to sell a whole lot to Dan's Fish. I already have them in a batch. Can't breed in hard water, soft water, but really do appreciate acidic conditions. Oh, I've got acidic conditions. I can get acidic conditions all day. They are very peaceful to. So Crobia, which ones are these? Crobia. Oh, I can't. Why can't I click on your link live? Can I even highlight it? No. What did I just do? I don't know. Alex, what did you just do? Alex, stop your shenanigans. Okay. Anyway, so you're selling some of these Crobias to Dan's Fish, but which oh yeah, some breeders have those here. Crobia zinguensis, yeah. And then who said that they? Sorry guys, I'm trying to go back in the chat and see who said that they have Crobias, because now I want one. A lot like the blue Acara. That makes sense. I mean, size-wise. But again, I would sell. Oh, okay. Crobia zinguensis, divide by 0. That is who you're talking about. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a beautiful fish. I really like that. Thank you. If you want some, here we go. I would be happy to send me. Yeah, are you in the States, divide by 0, or did you say you're in Europe sending them? Because I would love to. I think they're a beautiful fish. I've never kept them, but I am just charmed by medium and small cichlids. Absolutely love them. You know, I'm keeping the black line cichlid. I've always kept a pistos of some sort. You know, for 10 years, I've had a pistos now, some sort or another. And kind of in my club, once I breed them, I'll usually keep a set of the babies, like 5, and then I'll pass on the entire colony. And then that way I can do a species spotlight and just kind of have them. And if I ever really want them again, I could just like come back from that. Hey, that's a cool idea, Lush and Salty Aquariums. Wouldn't it be awesome if Aquatic Arts or Dan's Fish put together biotope kits supported by the content like this from you? So that is an interesting concept that you have there. You know, actually, it's funny you mentioned that. So actually at Aquatic Arts right now, their kits for their botanicals, me and David, their manager, their general manager, yeah, I guess that's his official role. I was like, is it CEO now too? But it's not, I don't think. Maybe it is. I don't know. He's the guy in charge there. He doesn't own the company, but he's the guy in charge. And he's a good dude. But he and I like spitballed and like brainstormed like there should be a kit for this and we can put this and this. And if you guys recall, I had videos about all these different types of tannins and which ones were the best. And I covered kind of 5 or 6 of my favorites. And then I went with scuds and I went with Daphnia and I went with like the pros and cons of each. And I mentioned those. Well, now they sell that stuff. Now they sell the breather bags. Now they sell the weights. So we have kind of done some of that. But yes, that would be really fun. Ivan Kara, the Idotka and the zebras and the spacing on the other one. You have a Rio Nene. Oh yeah, those are great too. Keyhole cichlids. Yeah, you know, some of the like T-bar cichlids, stuff like that. I really want to, you know, a lot of them. I'm thinking in that 60-gallon tank I have that's fairly tall. I still haven't picked anything for it. And I'm tempted to do something blackwater and do a big canister filter that just, you know, that does my filtration and I don't have to worry about plants and balancing and yada, yada. Like the filter will be the thing. But I don't want to do a ton of water changes. So it'll probably keep it on the acidic side, like 6.5. So the ammonia will kind of evaporate out too over time. But I'm still debating, like I'm still so stuck. And the problem is that I haven't been on the top of my game health-wise to feel like I can really care for a new tank and all the other tanks and that room getting possibly a new ceiling of sheetrock any day now. Yeah, that's going to be rough. But at first I wanted to do a Hillstream tank. That was like no brainer. And then so many options popped into my mind. You know, another one that I want to do someday is just a rice paddy. And that could be one of the biotopes that I do, like a Thai rice paddy. But it would need to be very specific. Is it terrace ricing? Is it lowland, flatland ricing, which is flood rice growth, which actually was imported from Sri Lanka around 2,000 or 3,000 years ago, depending on the region. And then Cambodia also has some technology that came into play. And that revolutionized the way they did things, but it also allowed fish to become part of the rice process in that the fish they would allow into the rice fields, they would eat the algae that would grow as sun baked down on shallow fields of rice when they would flood them to pick the rice. But they would also eat pests like bugs for like, you know, you don't want dengue fever or yellow fever or any of that. And then they would also, you know, there'd be the gouramis, there'd be the snakeheads, there'd be loaches, there'd be all the little rasboras and things, all that, bettas as well. And they're living symbiotically for 8,000 years of rice agriculture and horticulture in Southeast Asia. It's not inconsequential. It's actually shows in the genetic record on the fish that they shifted at some point recently, like the way their teeth and everything, the way they find their their remains. Remains older than around 10,000 years, the skeletons a lot of times don't last, and fish skeletons are notoriously bad for lasting. But we can actually, from archaeological digs and from like clay pots and vessels that humans put fish in to ferment and things like that, sometimes we can actually carefully use a CT scan, and like in this like chunk of mud or whatever food that was in there that is solidified and mineralized and everything, sometimes you can see the bones and things from that. It's pretty wild. Let's see here. Just watch a video for the first time. Stop and slow down. It was amazing and helpful. Thank you. Well, Ashley, thank you very much. Welcome. Come on in. I hope you're doing well. Leaning towards a big South American or a big Asian bio, separate, of course, running water. Thank you. South Carolina rice field. Yeah, that would be another interesting rice field, right? All right, let's see here. Let's lush and salty. Oh, that's that's Stefan. I didn't realize that. So okay, I didn't put together who I was talking to, like that I know you on Facebook versus just in YouTube lands. Now all the pieces are fitting together. It's like that scene in the movie where like all the computations are going, the math is in the air, and like all of a sudden like the golden spiral lights up and the geometry makes sense. Divide by 0. You need to take care of your health. I'm getting to the age where I'm seriously considering downsizing. Yeah, I know. 32 tanks probably won't happen again unless I automate things, 40, I know I'm not an old man, but 40, a lot of people forget I'll be 40 in a year, which when you've had autoimmune disease for 15 of those years and also been hit by lightning, a number of bad accidents, and had no upper teeth, broke my jaw, blah blah blah, back, jaw, skull. It takes a toll on you, and you're right. I am not under false illusions of what I will be doing. And that's why though the biotope tanks I really love, is because I can slowly kind of assemble them. I can kind of get pieces and get the minerals and the soil and like the kind of wood I want, put the plants in. I can kind of get them going for a couple months. If I want, I can even investigate like, okay, I want to put some isopods in, or I want to get some just even things like microcrustacean and microfauna that I do know I want, and I can release some of that's on plants and things in my other tanks. So there is this kind of little ecosystem ready for when I do release the shrimp and the snails and the nano fish and then the medium fish. And it kind of eases it all into functioning and then ramps up. Let's see here. Ashley says, I am 41 with autoimmune and 100, and I 100% hear you. It is so hard wanting to do hobbies. We love, health hard. 56, only ever had one surgery. You're lucky. Roy, you are super lucky. Yeah, I've broken 19 or 20 bones in my life. And I'm not talking like, oh, I broke my toe. I don't know how many times I've broken my toe and my fist. These two bones and those two bones and these bones, like 9 times or something total. I was very dumb and impulsive for a long time. It took me a lot of years to get patient and smarter than the wall, or the guy talking crap to my family members and stuff. But Alex, how can you auction off your species grow out in fish clubs? So I don't usually auction a ton of them. I usually give them to people who give me stuff. So like if somebody has given me like Lawrence Kent, for instance, he or Anthony Mazerall or Kenny Edwards or Jason or Chang at Moonlight Aquatics, I'll say, here are 40 of these fish, or here's a bunch of rainbow fish. Like I had a tank full of rainbow fish that his buddy brought in that I actually paid the retail price, which was he only priced them like $20 any fish, right? And they were full grown, really beautiful rainbow fish. And so I went on a splurge and I went and bought them all. Well, then I ended up being like, you know what? I don't need these. I'm going to sell them to the other 2 guys in the club that are obsessed with rainbows, who will actually take the time to breed them and stuff. Because I realized, like, it's, for me, rainbows were too much work. That's the bottom line. They're really cool. I'm glad I got to film them. I'm glad I got to take pictures of them. But at the end of the day, a lot of times that's what I really want to do, is take pictures of the fish, get to know them, observe them, see how they interact in a little community setting, see how they interact as a species, maybe see them reproduce once. And then that makes me feel like I'm more qualified to speak to those fish's behavior to others. Now, I've worked in aquarium stores as well, but that's only 2 years out of my life, and you don't see everything in the store. You know, you just kind of peek in, and the fish are stressed, and all that stuff. Also, Mick, thank you, buddy, for sharing links to. There is some merch. Some of it is a bit out of date, but such is life. Some of it may still say Secret History Living in Your Aquarium, which was the channel name for 7 of the 9 years officially, or maybe 6 of the 9 years. Roy, I'm going to click on this one. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I hear you. That was me until my early 20s as well. I mean, just bad stuff. Throw in anything in there, basically. But yeah, I haven't done anything like that. I'm big on that. I'm glad you're clean and life's going well for you. But yeah, this hobby really, really has soothed me. Like the plants, the lighting. I mean, it makes it so, like, that is what it's all about, coming home and seeing that. Love that. All right. Next step is to take picture. Keep on sharing your thoughts. Yeah. Let's see here. My Dario came in from Aquatic Arts today. Only one didn't make it. Oh, no, I'm sorry to hear that one didn't make it. Definitely talk to them about that. Send them an email for sure. They should help you out. I hope they sent you an extra one just in case. They tend to do that, but hit them up about the one that didn't make it. That's a bummer. I wonder if it was too hot, or like somewhere along the route there was something that happened. But I like to hear how things go, because I keep on their heels. Okay, guys. So what I want to show you real quick too is back to this picture that's on the screen. All right. So this little rivulus sape, as it is described, it is so small, very, very small. This one here too. This is a little male, and this is the holotype, actually. So right here, this is like the species. Like, you are the number one. You are the one in the little vial at the museum that all of the others will be judged from. So there's that one, and then I wanted to show you guys one other one. Where did it go? Sape, and then we've also got right, we got one more back. Okay. So then there's this guy. And making copies. So then I'll show you where these guys live, which you're not going to believe. So I messed up. Didn't copy Rivulus. Okay, this one's cooler looking, guys. All right. We got a better one here. So this Rivulus, pretty cool looking, right? I think we can all agree. Cool looking fish. Cool. Can we get a bigger picture of it though? Ignore all these other ones until I tell you, hey, it's one of these ones. But realistically, they probably look like that most of the year. But when they're in prime condition, yeah, they're pretty wild. So those two fish, yeah, here we go. I mean, here's the stakei, Rivulus stakei. Looks like it's got green, red, blue, yellow, black. What a crazy looking fish. So let me show you where it lives. Venezuela, man. So, check this out. So, get out of AI. I don't want your AI mode. Go away. Why is that happening to me? And no, get rid of, I don't want to search with this. How do I get rid of this? Guys, help me use the computer. I'm not good with it. I'm not smart. I need to be smarter than the computer. Okay, so this place, you've seen Angel Falls probably if you love, nature and water and when it falls, when you like water falling. But look at this place. This place is bonkers. It is Mount Roraima. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but Roraima. And this is in Venezuela. And Ivan has told me about this place. It is absolutely incredible in that it is like a 2,000 foot in spots. Other places, I think the lowest spot's like 1,100 foot cliff. And they call these sky islands. These occur in other parts of the world, Anatolia. They occur in Southeast Asia. But this is probably one of the most, they happen in the Grand Canyon. This is one of the most abrupt, like, holy smokes, that just drops straight down. And the entire top of this, let's try to find a picture of the top looking, like from a helicopter looking over at it. I mean, the clouds hit it, and it is like another coastline up from the jungle, and the weather changes. But there are clearly no rivers going up this mountain, right, guys? I guess there could be, in theory, a geyser or a geothermal vent that pushes up onto the plateau and then blah, blah. No, it's not that. It's rain, because every time these clouds pass over it, see how they're hugging the top of it? To get up and over these rocks and not smash into it and just stay rain all day, there are updrafts. The sun heats it up, convection happens, it lifts, and the rain gets squeezed out as it goes up 2,000 feet over this mountain. And it rains a few inches every morning until like noon on top of these tabletop mountains. And there are a bunch of them, and some of them have freaking fish at the top. And they never thought to check for fish, because the stuff that's at the top, if you look, it's like these puddles. They're so they're called Tepui Mountains. Maybe that's just the one mountain. Let's see here. But this is one of the other extreme, Tepui Mountains. Here's one where you can see the water actually, and they've found frogs, they've found snakes, and the stuff that lives up here is completely different than the stuff down in the jungles on this cliff, even down below, and then way different than the stuff at the very bottom of the waterfalls and stuff. But I mean, this is what it looks like every morning, like holy cannoli. And then down from the bottom lands, like way far away with an ultra zoom lens. Look at this, all these foothills, and then it turns into jungle. So you get every environment. But those two killifish that we looked at, they live up at the top on here. And it wasn't until 2 years ago that they went up to the top here. Look at this. And that they started exploring. Here, I'm actually going to, let's see if this opens. And they actually started exploring and they found that due to updrafts and wind and rain and birds, they got eggs from some sort of killifish that's related in the region, and they got onto the legs up here. This also happens in the Atacama Desert, which is the driest desert in the world. And in these little water puddle ponds that are stagnant water, they found 3 different types of killifish. Isn't that crazy? Killifish are nuts, and these are one that Mick knows all about them, because Mick knows all about everything, right? Thanks, Mick. So yeah, this is one that I think would be a cool one to talk about in the future, right? Yeah, so if I am in Google, I was going to look up the next one I wanted to show you guys as an example of places like I want to show off, there's another there's other weird places okay, so here's an example of one I want to share. So the Cascade, I want to film this. Cascade mud minnow. And so this is a fish that I've seen, I've touched. I'm not supposed to touch it. It is endangered. It is protected, the Olympic mud minnow and the Cascade variety too. But there's a wild thing about this fish. And this fish is found, so let me pull up a map. USA map. So it's a beautiful little fish. You saw that, right? It's a beautiful, essentially a killifish. I'm going to tell you a surprise soon. And this is a Washington native. I think Lawrence Kent may have taken this picture. He and I took a bunch of the pictures because we actually went out with University of Washington, and we had permits to go collect them and do survey work and take pictures. And then, we couldn't keep them or anything legally, but they're a beautiful little 2 to 3 inch fish for the most part, and they can live in areas that dry up quite a bit. They're kind of like our killifish here in the Northwest. They live in land, that's not the best close-up, but they live in kind of like peat bogs and kind of old growth swamp that kind of has, scrubby stuff that's not there all year. But what I wanted to explain to you guys is this, or not that. Central mud minnow, yeah, okay. Non-native, okay, native. All right, here we go. So it's not even on the map. It's so small, it's a little dot. Oh, dang it. Hold on, guys. Let me pull up. I hate when it does this. I think I'm sharing something with you guys, and I'm not until I do this, and then I go here, and we go here. So here's these mud minnows around the United States, okay? And this is the main central mud minnow in the brown. That's the native, the mustard color. In the red or burgundy, this is the non-native, and there's also some pink, but I don't even see that on the map, so I don't know. But there's these other populations that are adjunct populations, different mud minnows. But how in the heck did a mud minnow get all the way from Washington State all the way up here by Seattle from the rest of the population over here? Now, I want you to see here, glacial maximum. Cat, come on. Maximum USA Canada map. So this is the stuff that keeps me up at night, folks.
So if you go, well, this is the human glacial maximum, but the one that happened in our, like, while humans were on this planet. And you can see here, like, this red line, the furthest south glaciers came. Let's see, can I get a better? Yeah, okay. So I can go here, I can copy this. I can back out of that, back out of that, back out of that. Holy smokes, I have to back out of a lot of things to get this to share with you guys. All right, so here we go. Gotta love the USGS, U.S. Geological Survey website. Looks like it's from circa 1993. Actually, looks like it's circa 1999. Anyways, so up here you got Seattle. This whole area underwater. Or under ice, rather, under 2 miles of ice. This red line, the glacial system used to go out here. Then there's the aquifer system. Let's see what's here. Extent of the glacial maximum is going to be out here, and this is about, I think, what, 9,000 years ago? When are we talking here? 9 or 10,000 years ago. But anyways, my point being, you saw on the map, the Great Lakes were the place with all the other fish. They do live down into the Mississippi and the Ohio River Valley, and kind of into even the edge of Appalachia, and then up the Missouri a bit. So all of that probably re-speciated. If you look at America, a lot of it was under ice 10,000 years ago, and they couldn't get over the Rockies, a lot of the fish. So they either worked their way up through the Colorado River Valley and like the American River and a few rivers in California, or the ones that come up from the Gulf here, like the Mississippi pretty much is about it, or the Rio Grande or whatever, But they have to go and come from somewhere, and these fish had to either be there since before there were even like before these rivers even existed in these places, and like there was a giant lake there, and then it got smaller and smaller and smaller, and these fish have just been there for what, millions of years. So it is really mind-blowing to mention that there are fish, these mud minnows. They're actually a pike, and they're a pike form fish, and the closest pikes are nowhere near Washington. Like, we have none here. We've got 53 species of fish in Washington state and in freshwater, and I think like 18 of them are salmonid or trout species. It's really wild. We have one of the lowest diversities of fish in America, in the Americas, in the world. Europe has some pretty non-diverse waterways too. But it's very interesting how these critters manage to get there. Like, they probably had a common ancestor with their DNA, they said. But yeah, remember how eggs can stick and travel. It's very cool. Killifish eggs, they've shown, can be digested into ducks. In the case of mallards, just like your common mallard, they can be a lot of killifish, but also they've now proven bluegill, pumpkin seeds, a lot of the lipomus and the sticklebacks, surprisingly. They can get on their leg, and then the ducks will clean it, eat it, like, off themselves, and thinking it's like seaweed and bugs and kelp or whatever, just stuff on their leg. Then they digest it, or they have it in their belly. Well, when they're flying, a lot of times they don't go to the bathroom, they don't do anything. They just get to their destination, and they kind of like are on autopilot, like hold their digestive system and stuff. And so they end up bringing it with them. And that's how a lot of alpine lakes in the Cascades, in the Olympics, even in the Rockies, you get stickleback, you get whitefish, you get these weird fish
that have spread. It's how bass and warmouth and bluegill and stuff like that have proliferated across every body of water in, like, you know, the lower 48, essentially. Yes, they were intentionally brought and put into a lot of places, but they weren't put into all these places. Yes, Native Americans also brought a lot of fish places well before Western, before Europeans came to meddle with things. And yes, there were fisheries as early as the 1700s in America to breed fish to bring out west to, like, the Ohio River Valley. They weren't sure what would be out there, they didn't know where the Continental Divide would be. They knew of these things, though. It's pretty wild. But then it brings up the question, is that an interesting biotope? Do any of you guys want to hear about the Olympic mud minnow? In that it's not remote in the sense that, oh my gosh, it's on top of a freaking mountain. Kind of. It's remote in that it doesn't have another similar fish, evolutionarily speaking, for 1,000 miles of rugged terrain. And then there were glaciers off and on and off and on and off and on forever in between it. And it is a very old landmass that goes back 300 million years. The stone there, it was the ocean floor at one point, and then it rose up, and then it settled back down, and then it eroded away, and then it rose up with the subduction zone on the fault lines there. But I mean, long story short, how do they get there? Joey Lowell, what's up? Fishcapades, what's up? Good to see you. So that's cool. Another thing that I wanted to bring up was the Rio Jingu. So I just had the fortunate son. Now I've got that song stuck in my head. It ain't me. I ain't no fortunate son. Some folks are some folks are born to wave the flag. Ooh, they're red, white, and blue. But when the taxman asks you how much can you give, all you ask is more, 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 more. It ain't me. So Andreas Sosa was just here. Souza is how his name appears, or we say a lot in the U.S. Yeah, I ain't no senator's son. Yeah, exactly. Definitely not. Anyways, I would have been, what's the word? Disqualified? No, that's not the word. Abandoned? Disowned. That's the word, disowned. But yeah, so the Rio Jingu, thankfully, he came to my house. He saw my messy room. I was embarrassed. I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'd love to meet him. I'll come watch him. I'll meet him at a barbecue and I'll drive him around if need be or whatever. Like, that's all cool. But my house is kind of a mess right now. And I don't know if, and they're like, oh, we're at your door. And I was like, oh, crap. So they came in and he was nice about like, oh, I like the plants in your, oh, that's really cool. I've never seen that. So that was nice of him because I'm sure he probably had seen a lot of stuff and he probably had seen every fish that I have. Actually, there were a couple he had that he was kind of excited about. And they're all the ones that like my wife always lectures me about, that she's like, why are you keeping these little clear or silver fish? Like nobody cares. They're these little silver fish that are an inch long. They look like all the other fish you have. Fishery, do you know what kind of plant that looks like a large blade of grass, and do you like it? Yeah, Cypress hellfry. It's spelled a little funny. Here, we'll look it up. Cypress hellfairy. It's a great one.
Val works too, but Val doesn't necessarily always stay up on its own. But this one right here, Cyperus, not like the island, but Cyperus hellfairy or hellfry is how it's pronounced, just like the other plant that a lot of folks probably will know by Stellatus hellfairy or Downoi. But yeah, this one's pretty good. Images. So you can grow. Copy, delete, copy, doop, doop. All right. So you can grow pretty cool stuff like this underwater with these. This one is a neat one. Looks like big blades of grass. I like that plant a lot. It's not the most common in the hobby anymore. For a while, it was kind of all over, but you see it with Val from time to time too. And out of the water, it's going to be more like spike rush or something like that. It's a little bit firmer, I would say. But you could always get something like palmetto, you know, or something really sharp and wicked that grows very, very sturdy. But yeah, cypress hellfry, or maybe some form of sweetgrass or sawgrass, a cattail. All those are pretty good. I would recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend again. It's growing well in my 20-gallon. It grows fast, Joey says. Right on. Let's see here. Posted a short of Wabenmuster Plecos, so for the bravest of them out of them has been out and about. Right on, Fishcapades. That's exciting that you've got those. Did you get those from Dan's? That's pretty sweet. Kenny, what's up, bud? Good to see you, man. It's been too long. It's been a while. It's too long, baby, now it's too late. Okay, so what I was trying to find for you guys is the Rio Jingu. So, Rio Jingu, Bella Monte, Dam project, whatever. Here we go. So this is the second biggest river in the world, or I mean the second biggest dam in the world as far as the capacity behind it. Oh wait, I'm wrong already. So they're building more. Second largest hydroelectric dam in Brazil, fifth largest in the world behind China's Electro Dam and the Paraguayan Itapu. Okay, whatever. It's a series of dams. If you count the whole series, they are the biggest series. And they're going to get outdone soon. But this dam right here, we had the professor who's been studying it for 20 years, since before it was put in. And it was completed about 9 years ago, 10 as of September, I believe. And it basically created a big, deep river channel behind the dam in the reservoir. And before this, there was a deep slot canyon. And it means that the Rio Jingu, historically, it's kind of wild. Like what they did for this dam, but this area, the Big Bend is what it's called. Oh, come on. Freaking driving me nuts with this. I don't know why it won't let me just share this easier. Hold on, guys. Let me show you this. Okay, so here's the GIS map. But this is like real accurate data. And I hope you guys can see the cursor, maybe. Can you see the cursor? So up here, red is building and or exposed rock or pavement. Could be tar from a roof. It could be rocks. The rest is all jungle or life, you know, plants. But this river used to flow like this down around all the way around up here in a big, what they called the Big Bend. Now it's a giant lake right here. And basically what you can't see is that there's a line diagonally through this entire map. And where this bend, the first bend in the river here, and this other bend up here are, from basically this dam that's at the top of the picture, the purple at the top of the reservoir, and the one that's all the way here that's filled up with all the water. So all this water backs up. There's a dam here. It's all blocked off. And instead of this old dam, or instead of the river flowing slowly all year this way, now it all backs up to this point. And this area where this reservoir is had a cliff, like right here, like 100 and some foot drop. So even though the dam isn't that impressive, underwater there is a trench that is over 90 feet deep. And before all of this, it was also known because this Big Bend area had a trench right here. You can see the rock exposed, and over here. Now, Dr. Sosa explained this to us really well, and I recommend you go see his talk if you can. But you know, he lives in Brazil, so hard to come by. I'm going to try my best to get him on the show. You know, we really got along when he was here. English is his second language, but he's pretty good at it. But what he, you know, he was the zebra pleco guy. He's the guy who figured out how to breed them, and, you know, like the decides with IBAMA and CITES and like all the different red list IUCN group stuff, like what is going to be legal and illegal to import, export, all that stuff. And he has something like 1,000 of them in his lab right there by the river. And he knows every little thing about them, and when they move, and when they're doing this with their fins, that means they're this way. When they do both fins like this, that means something else. When they're sitting on the eggs and they one fin is slightly out of rhythm with the other, that means they need more oxygen because they're making turbulence in the air, so that means turn it down. Absolutely absolutely wild, like what he knows about the nuance of those fish. But he was saying that you know, the ecology of the Jingu River is completely unique in the Amazon, because there are these canyons that if there wasn't a river there, it's one of the only spots in the Amazon where there's canyons that go like 100 plus feet under sea level, you know. So even though maybe they're 200 feet above sea level at that point, you know, out on this giant plateau of the Amazon, they may go down 100 feet below. That means a 300-foot elevation change in a mile of the jungle along this river. And, you know, the Congo River has a bunch of elevation change. You know, the Columbia River, Mississippi River has a good amount, if you count the Missouri River specifically. Colorado River has a ton of change. Holy cow, like the Yellow River, Yangtze River, and the Mekong River, whoa, Ganges River, whoa, massive changes in elevation. But rivers tend to try to go low and slow. And the Congo seems to be the deepest with 300 feet known spots, but completely different fish living down there. And what's mind-blowing about the Rio Jingu biotope is that on the Rio Jingu, which is just in the Amazon, you know, if anybody asks, oh, it's in the Amazon, right? But there are like 17 plecos there, specifically Hypencistrus, the leopard frog pleco, the zebra pleco, and a number of others that do great there. And they live in between the cracks of the rocks that are forming, and it's scoured out bedrock that's water has just scoured it out. And it is, anybody watching Shark Week? Hell no. So I like Shark Week, but Forrest Galante, he can go pound sand. Screw that dude. But yeah, Leandro Souza, thank you. I think I said something other than Leandro. I think I said Andreas. I don't know why I said that. Sorry, guys. Yes, Leandro Souza. He has a YouTube channel. You can go see this footage. He is sharing it. I'm hopefully going to use some of his footage for a project that I want to work on. But I'm hoping to work on also funding his lab with Ivan Mikolji and I, the nonprofit, the Green Earth Alliance. We have some things in the work, maybe with Jeremy Wade of River Monsters. We're really hoping to kind of pull something together big this year when Ivan's new book is out. So we'll see what happens. But I do love sharks. I don't like Forrest Galante. He is the guy who's like, you should buy Mind Fusion or Mind Bloom or Mind Mushroom Melted Mega Monkey Mix, whatever it is. He sells like all these random things now, but he used to be like an okay presenter who I just assumed was a pretty boy, pretty face. He was on Naked and Afraid originally. That's how he got famous, was he was on Naked and Afraid, and he lived on a safari farm in Zimbabwe as a white guy growing up. And so he had kind of an interesting background around game animals in Africa, which, is interesting. They can put pictures up of him doing it. But then he tried to pretend that he was something he was not. He tries to pretend he's a venomous snake expert or at this or at that or a zoologist. And he's not. He has a biology and environmental science undergrad degree and no formal training in any of that. He has communications is what he studied more of, and making reality TV. But his channel is so obnoxious right now. Not to mention he's in this like podcast sphere of like these B and C tier podcasters that are kind of like trying to hang on to people like I don't know. I mean, you could argue some of them are liberal, some of them are right wing, but they're all kind of in like the either Joe Rogan or like, and I like Joe Rogan's podcast. Don't get me wrong. I think sometimes he can be a bit of a dense character, but I love the people he's had on over the history of the entire thing. But anyways, yeah, I should have known it was all dumb. Yeah, the fact that he was on Naked and Afraid, right? The thing that makes me mad is that he pitched this show. It's his idea to pitch it. He's one of the producers, and he's the host. And he basically says, is it extinct or is it not? And it started with things like the coelacanth, right? And they're like, this fish, it existed 300 million years ago. I'm going to go see if it actually went extinct. It's like, we've known about this fish since 1933. What are you talking about? But then he's like, we found one, and pays some local guy to show it off. Like, hey, come here, bring me that fish. But now it's gotten to like, is the Tasmanian devil, or not Tasmanian, the thylacine, is that gonna, is Tasmanian tiger, is that around? It's not a bad, I mean, that's an interesting biological question. I kind of don't think so, but I mean, valid science, right? But he doesn't do it. He just shows up and then he reads the literal abstract in many cases of the paper that was most published recently of something. Now, if he finds something in the episode that turns out it's not extinct, it's always some crap that came out 1 to 2 years ago and was not big in the news. So it's like, there's something skink. Turns out it's alive after 130 years and no one's seeing it. But he makes it look like him and his team just figured that out. And that's disingenuous and it bugs me. What really pisses me off is how he tackles, I'm going to see if I can find it. This is how annoyed I am. I'm going to see if I can find, okay, bear with me, guys. So 1 sec, well, then we'll end it on that note. But I'll probably get claimed for doing this. And then if I do, I don't care. The stream might crash on me. So let's see here. But Forest galante. It should be fair use. So what I don't like is that this guy has this pretense that he is an eco warrior, that he is the guy who cares about animals, and that he is all about like nonprofit and education and yada yada yada, and it's all like clickbait. Like, it's not about any of that. But I want to show you guys the aquarium episode that or short that he just put out. He may have taken it down because it was so bad. Forest Galante Aquarium. I posted this on Facebook and lost my mind. I roasted the guy. A bunch of my friends roasted the guy. And he may have taken it down. Let's see. Are these, yeah, his shorts. Come on. This should be fair use though. Okay, guys. So watch.
After years of keeping and collecting fish, I feel like I finally put together the perfect combination of oddball fish in this tank. I want you to give it a rating 1 through 10. At the top, African butterfly fish that simulate dead leaf litter. Next to them is an archerfish that'll shoot water out of its mouth. Below them.
Can you guys hear that? Can you guys hear that? It might get shut down for like copyright, whatever. But this is his quote unquote perfect tank. So I want you to know this is a freshwater tank, and this is a 60-gallon corner tank. Now, if you guys can tell me what is wrong with it, all this pisses me off. This guy has like 5 million subscribers, by the way, across like a bunch of it. All right, so let's let the video play. But this is his perfect tank, okay? So tell me if you can spot what's wrong with this 60-gallon tank and the fish that are in it. Should we restart?
After years of keeping and collecting fish, I feel like I finally put together the perfect combination of oddball fish in this tank. I want you to give it a rating 1 through 10. At the top, African butterfly fish that simulate dead leaf litter. Next to them is an archerfish that'll shoot water out of its mouth. Below them.
That's a group fish. Just want to throw that out there. This denison barb already like 5 inches. I'm gonna have to stop it a couple times, otherwise it'll definitely claim me and it'll get all my money for the day. But I definitely don't want that to happen while I'm roasting the dude. So okay, let's continue.
Mono argentus, 2 bat-like fish that'll get.
Oh, they're a saltwater fish, or at least brackish. They do come into fresh water sometimes, but they're pretty much a brackish.
Huge, but right now are really small and really adorable. A spotted Congo puffer, which is a freshwater.
Look how cute it is, guys. Look at that little Congo puffer, smaller than rainbow fish.
Species of pufferfish. 2 tiny 6-banded Discodocus. There's a
Discodocus. I could swear that was a Discodotus. Last I checked.
Varietal that'll grow to be 3 feet long, and a tiger moray, which is the world's only freshwater moray. By Peterson's elephant nose.
The only freshwater moray? Yeah, no crap. He was going to say the only freshwater eel, had to overdub it because he doesn't know what he's talking about, as always. But there are lots of freshwater eels. He says later that he has the only fully freshwater turtle, which I would like to say exhibit every turtle that's not a saltwater turtle. But I think what he means is the only fully aquatic freshwater turtle. But I'll continue. Okay, so he's got a mormarid, which very sensitive, very shy, hate bright light. They need a place to hide, and they need like basically to be spoon-fed worms, and they don't want stress. They don't want anything electrical around them, but just keep watching.
A super unique fish that has a trunk like an elephant and uses electroreception to find its food. A black clown knifefish, usually a shy animal, but
another electric fish.
comes out when I feed them. For a splash of color, I've got rosaline sharks, Severum cichlids, blue acaras, a couple angelfish, a pair of rainbow fish, hillstream loach, and 2 incredible giant freshwater Amazonian flounder, all to support this guy right here. Fly, my fly river turtle, the world's only fully freshwater turtle species. I think the tank is perfect. Curious to get your rating on a 1 to 10. After years of
Wow. Okay. All right, guys. Why give that your energy? I know, right, guys? Love those fish. All the fish are cool. None of them can be in a tank together, pretty much. Like, wow. Poor mormarid, poor knife fish, poor the batfish, or whatever. Also, I mean, I gave it a 1 because 0 wasn't available, right? But the guy goes on, and 5 million kids or whatever are gonna see this. I don't know how many kids are gonna see it. Like, whatever, say 500,000 see it. That's who our biggest speakers are to the aquarium hobby. We've got like Joey King of DIY, that, and who else is out there right now? There's like Zeb Hogan and kind of like River Monster Guy are kind of out there in somewhere land maybe these days. But really, like, we can't have any better like science communicators. These are the guys that make the big bucks, so to speak, off this stuff. So many fish, so few visual barriers, right? Not to mention, some of them like salt water, basically, and some of them want like acidic, super acidic water. The knife fish, you got the mormarid that doesn't want the light. It's just, yeah, it's like Florida, totally. Goofy kids in Florida, yeah, they're the other ones who have the big channel. There's also the, what are they called? The Alabama Bass Productions or whatever. Yeah. Anyways, just throw a bunch of stuff. Just throw it all into a gumbo and say, look at it, or watch it fight, or watch it eat each other, or like, it's either got to like explode or be flashy, or naked people, or addictive, or the kids won't eat it up. Anyways, people ask me like, oh, why don't you like him? What's wrong with him? He brings attention to fish, even if he's kind of goofy. Like, what's wrong with that? Well, mostly the fraudulent like work when he claims his research team, whatever that means, has been Alex, I'll be the exception to the rule syndrome at its finest. Yeah, true. I mean, I can see how you get into it and you think, oh, I'll pitch a show about cryptid animals that are extinct, and like, well, we can't get the shot, so I guess we'll use B-roll. And then like, oh, it came from Bangladesh. Like, do we really have to cite the guy? I forget his name. It was a long foreign name. We read the paper. Just say that we were researching it for months. Like, but that's so freaking sloppy and lazy. That's the bummer part about that. Mick, I felt you felt for flipping some tables. Yeah, I if I had a table to flip, I would, but I don't. I just have an adorable little kitty cat. Her name is Sumi, and she keeps me calm when I want to flip tables. Don't you, baby girl? All right, you guys. Would like to see some of them big buck guys do a body of water that is dying and turn it around and make it beautiful. Yeah, I would like to see that too. I would love to see some of the money. There's a ton of money in fish stuff, but like the money they spend on Shark Week, they could save like every betta species if they just got like 100 acres in Southeast Asia, Malaysia, or Thailand for each of those bettas. They could probably freaking afford that. Absolutely wild. Oh, here we go. Can I click on this live? Will it let me? Oh, I don't think it will. Gosh darn it. Well, check out Mick's clip. I would like to see that. His Rivulus Ziphidus location video. Also, what is his channel? Which buddy is that? Is that your buddy Carl again? Because I definitely want to watch that later, but the link is not showing to my stupid StreamYard thing. But I would love to watch where those killifish are from, where the ditch fish. Everyone says, why are they called killifish? They're not mean. They don't kill things. It's because it's a Dutch word. Actually, I think originally it was Flemish too, but it means ditch or like moat, pond, trench, and then fish, obviously. Okenifi is his channel name, not Carl. Okay. Okenifi. I wonder if I can find that right now. Okenifi. Does he have 9 subscribers? Is that correct? Oh, it does. Oh, wow. That's dang good. Okay. All right. Good call. Wild that I found that on my first guess. Glad. Thank you, Mick. I can share it with you guys. So Ziphidus, let's see, where is, man, he's got a lot of Rivulus. Wow, this guy's gone some places. I'm gonna have to subscribe. Why does he have 9 subscribers? This is criminal. Thank you, by the way, Mick. This is so lame how you get these incredible channels. So here we go. Okenify. I don't know how I'm saying it right. But he's got 9 subscribers with 38 videos. But he's got like getting to the places on the river. I guess nobody cares about this stuff. He's got the falls from the air. He's got a creek in Guyana, land in Guyana. Let's see, where is he's got searching for rivulus. Look at that black water. And then Breviceps biotope, rivulus. And then we've got the falls up on one of these slopes. Here he's got the Trigonostigma sompongzi, which obviously he likes these extinct, obscure, extinct in the wild things. But where I might have missed his video, if he has one, where he specifically mentions the species I was looking for. Where did that go? Well, we can look at this anyways. So I don't want to take much from his channel. Wow, yeah, look at this.
Ska du ta den i handen?
Or even just, a rise, that they find fish, that their eggs survive sometimes years in the actual soil and water, sometimes in a bog or peat moss or something. Really depends. And then like it's barely even water. Like, how's that water enough for a fish? Absolutely bonkers. But it is, like, there's some water right there. Yeah, look at this. Oops. Is he gonna put his, he's gonna put his phone down in there. Nice. Sorry guys, I know it's turned the wrong way. see if there's any fish in there. I don't see any yet. Anyways, give this guy a look. Just showing like the absolute bonkers habitat. Like, how would any fish exist up on the top of these in Guyana and Suriname and stuff? It's just incredible. We'll have to explore some of these biotopes as a channel, get the actual, details. Very cool. He said you pick it up with your hands. Wow. Yeah, so we're really pampering these killies in 2-gallon tanks, aren't we? Eh? That's funny. Yeah, let's see here. Okay? Hey, Justin, what's going on, man? Yeah, I guess he needs to restart the channel somewhere. Yeah, okay. All right, let's see. Will snails eat my apisto eggs? Yeah. How do you lower the pH? Just with botanicals. So the easiest way to lower the pH is you start with relatively neutral water. If you can accomplish that, use aqua soil in the first place if you're going to be trying to work in the acidic range. Like if you want to work with stuff that is going to be like, I don't know, 6.5 to 7.0. If you have even 7.5 water, you can put aqua soil in, and that will help the humic acid, the tannic acid, the organic compounds in there will break down, and they will give away some of their minerality in the form of acidity. You can add catappa almond leaves. You can make an extract of acid, so you can make more concentrated like muriatic acid. You can buy acid. The other way you can do it is you can have water with nothing in it. You can get an RODI filter, or you can buy distilled water or have a still, or you can use rainwater in some places. But if you have 0 TDS, 0 total dissolved solids, and the pH is 7.0 on the money, you have less than 5 parts per million of stuff in it, you can just leave it out, and that water will go down more and more and more acidic as basically it loses charge, and you end up with the acidic water. Now, if you add crushed coral, you add limestone, or you add like sodium bicarbonate or carbonates, calcium, potassium, different bonded salts and things, then you harden your water. Now, if you add a little bit of buffer, so watch my episode on pH, TDS, and KH. It explains it a little bit more like a battery system where you have to kind of give or take, and you either take some of the pH to go up in the alkalinity, or you take some of the acidity to go up in alkalinity, or you burn away some of the alkaline content and carbonate, and then your acidity will rise as that gets taken away. I know that all sounds confusing, but it is kind of a complex thing, and the easiest way to explain it is to say either you can buy black water in a bottle, or you can buy botanicals and substrate that is buffered. And when it says buffered, generally people are saying like, oh, that means it has minerality, so your tank won't swing in pH. It won't go up and down and all over the place when you change the water. But really, you just need a very slight buffer so that it doesn't swing, and then you can bring it down even with a slight buffer. If you add a ton of a buffer, like a bunch of crushed coral, then that will melt off over time and dissolve into the waterway, making it harder and harder and harder. And over time, if you let your aquarium water evaporate off and into the room, those solids stay in solution in the tank for the most part. And the water gets harder and harder as you add water, even if it only had 10 parts per million of TDS. Every time you put that in, you're putting another 10 parts per million into your total volume,
and you didn't get it all out. Maybe 2 parts per million evaporated, and the rest, if you're not doing a water change, where you literally scoop some water out and move it somewhere else, get rid of it out of the tank, your plants can eat some of that minerality too. But that's kind of the long and short of it. I hope that helps. Let's see here. Wicked freaking aquatics. What's up? Super high GH, but no KH. Well, get some calcium, dude. I forgot to mention some aquatic isopods from Garden of Eden. Will they need a lidded tank? They are climb equipment, cables, and hoses. Yeah, they're able to climb. Mine haven't wanted to like really go anywhere far. Mine haven't wanted to get up and out of the water very often. I think I've had 1 or 2 that I've found outside of the tank. What they're more inclined to do is burrow under your substrate, and you just never freaking see them. At night is when you'll see them. So don't feed them for like a week, and then put some like rotten food or, you know, something stinky in their crustacean mix or something. And they'll come out and they'll eat that. Cool. I'll have to check out your friend Carl too, Mick. I appreciate that. I'll have to, maybe you can help me get into contact with him so that I could request like maybe using some of his footage. I'm happy to give him the money. I mean, the best video I've ever made $400, and that was the I mean, I've had live streams make more than that because of how generous some of you people are. But yeah, my videos, like my last video, the video I put up last week made me $12. Like I spent, I think, 16 hours editing and filming and writing that. So no problem giving him all the proceeds of a video if he's cool with letting me use it. But I can't say that it's that much. All right, you guys, I'm going to get out of here. That's about all I have for you. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I hope you guys, hey, it adds up. When I have 1,800 videos and they all still make $1 or 50 cents a month, ends up being money, especially when you guys are $1.99 members or even more. I can't tell you. It makes it possible. And that is why I love this. I just need it to be plausible for my wife to not murder me. And I will keep doing fishery. It's been close lately with my health, but you guys are incredible, and there's a will. And so we'll figure out the way. And, thank you guys. You all rock. To support Jeff, people like Jeff have been here 41 months. It's incredible. If even, we have 85,000 subscribers in the community now. If like literally 1/85th of the community were members, I'd have enough to run the channel every month. Pretty weird thought. Not saying I'm like angry about those odds. I'm just saying it's an amazing thought, like what the power of community can do and what we can do as a community for causes. Like we could also raise money to do, fundraisers and nonprofits and things. And hopefully Ivan and I will have some interesting stuff to share with you soon. But yeah, I will see you guys on Friday though. And thank you again so much for all of your support, for everyone hanging out here. Jeff, man, thank you, buddy. Everyone else who's here too, Johnny, all you super chatters that were around. Amy, hello. And I'm gonna get out of here. But I'm hoping to also have Jason of Redfish Bluefish on here soon, because he is back officially. Redfish Bluefish shop is back online. I don't have a cheat code or any money thing from him yet, but maybe that'll happen at some point. I don't know. Can't promise anything there. He's a one-man show, and I know now he's a two-man show. He's got a teenage son helping him. So I hope that helps him run things, because he works in like cyber like tech stuff the other half of his life. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. We'll cover actually more biotopes, but comment if you're watching in the future, if you're watching in the past, if you're watching now and you want to just come back later once this whole thing is loaded, you can comment in an hour or two or whatever. Just comment a standalone comment, not in the chat, and let me know what what like niche aquascape or niche biotope or ecosystem you'd like to see, because there's some incredible ones. We touched on a few today, got some good ideas like the Panama Canal River, like there's a river called the River of Blood in Colombia that has this beautiful plant that only grows there and no one can grow it in the aquarium. There's lots of places, lots of ideas. Sulawesi, the Sky Islands. There are other Sky Islands in the world, including in Asia. Super interesting. Stay tuned. I will be back. As always, we do the twice a week live stream. I'll be back Friday, hopefully at 4:30 or 5 Pacific time. That's LA time. And Alt, welcome as a new member. You made it just in time for something. But that something is over 215 episodes of audio-based episodes just for you that are secret on a playlist just for you. So check out the community members post tab, and you can watch that. You can listen to that while you're driving or doing water changes or out ice skating or whatever it is that you like to do in the summer. All right, you guys, have a wonderful night. And long live the Prince of Darkness. I'll see you guys later. Much love. Bye-bye.